I'm I'm in hermit mode, and I think I'm probably not going to make more videos for a while. But I did want to talk about this. So I have this notebook that I started, I don't know when, in the past couple of years, trying to, put my life back together, trying to write, things down. And here's a piece of stuff, and here's a piece, and yeah. So I got this out last night, and I put it under, well, I put it on top of that. And, under that. Yeah, well, so colorful. Anyway, so I'm putting it back. All right, so and on top I have notes from a free class that I took, an herbalist class, and it was amazing. But anyhow, so what I want to talk about is having the shop closed. So I started a notebook, writing things that I've done, work, and looking at continuity, looking at discontinuity, and I think about things we can't control. um, Sometimes we're put through things, where different things happen. Some of us experience that a lot. But anyway, I decided to write about the shop in there. I was looking at how many sales I've made, so there are a couple of different numbers, and on the page for the shop, there's a higher number than on the dashboard in the shop, and I think, well, that might be because some clients asked for more than one reading, so yeah, it is a little bit over 3,300 according to that, and that one says under 32, so it's somewhere in there, and I think 6 years, over 3,000 readings, I think I can feel good about that, though I can really regret talking about dreams to people, ever saying anything like spirit is communicating or spirit communicated to people that are not my clients. And I don't think I've done that too much. I think what I have done is I get this sort of, the isolation. What can I say? So it's kind of like when I do readings, and I might write a whole lot of nonsense to someone that is not a client, and they're like, you're insane. And I, I have to own that if it's, if I'm really wrong, but I got a lot of strong validations in the shop, and so I have pretty good confidence about doing readings, but physically I can't do it now. The impact is too high. And here's what I want to talk about. But even in my daily life, it's like the stress level, I'm having to sort of make sure that, I'm taking good enough care of my health. So um clients and drugs. That's what I want to talk about. Really what got me closing the shop in October, and I tried opening it again in early January, it was clients using drugs. So for, I think, about 2.5 years of the 6 years I had the shop open, and will I open it again? I don't know. I guess it waits to be seen. When I tried opening in early January, I couldn't because of the physical impact. I'm real sensitive like that, even sometimes to emotions. So I think with so much going on right now, I also have to sort of pull back, and if there's a whole lot of anger going on, I'm real intense, but if there's anger going on and I get too close to that, it can set things off in my body. Um, so, um, so, so drugs, physical empathy, the impact of drugs on people who are empathic. Maybe it's not just on anyone when people are using recreational drugs or prescription drugs, but some of us are real sensitive. So I have talked before about picking up on someone using an opioid, or spirit is communicating that you've taken an opioid, and yes, he told me he'd taken some of his wife's. Okay, so you know I and then my client that takes Adderall as a prescription drug, that night that I was in the bathroom, and it's like, whoa, it's like I feel a drug, I'm picking up on a drug. And I sat down at the computer, and she had sent me a message. She'd asked for 2 readings that day, And so that's when she told me that she takes extended release Adderall. Well, when I reopened the shop, she was the first client there. 2 questions, and I couldn't because of the impact on my body. So I had to close. So I tried to reopen, but and then the other client in October were drugs. Like, I am not going to doubt what Spirit is communicating to me, but she must be doing things that she doesn't understand or crossing lines that are, I mean, extremely risky, so, and harmful, So, I mean, I have a lot of life experience and I don't judge, but I was very, very alarmed by whatever what was coming through, and it's like, this just doesn't even seem real, but I guess she's hiding things, and she might have thought she could hide things from me, and she's hiding things from herself, and she must not understand how serious it is, some of what she is doing. So um will I ever get answers about that? I don't know, but the night before she requested the first reading, and then it was reading after reading. Yeah. And that was a problem this past year. The same question, same person asking me again and again and again about a guy or about a couple of guys, or it's like I don't know the words. All right, so the night before she requested a reading, something kept getting my attention that has a relationship to where she lives. So yeah, so physical empathy and drugs. Some of us again are real sensitive, and you know, uh, and it does physical harm to our bodies. Prescription drugs. Someone taking a prescribed drug, it can take some of us down. It can do harm to our bodies. And do I understand that? Not really. I don't. But it's um it's frustrating. I will say that, because prescription I'm talking about addictive drugs. I'm not as aware of, there. I might have had clients on antidepressant. Well, I know that I think of one who was really depressed and had been through mess, and you know, it doesn't have the same impact on me. Okay, so, but the addictive drugs, whether they're prescription or recreational, if we want to call them that, yeah. And addictive, I could say recreational drugs that also might not be addictive, they can have an impact on those of us who are real sensitive. And so, so someone using a prescribed addictive drug, I've talked plenty about how harmful those drugs are, and for me, it's just a matter of surviving the nonsense going on. So, when I'm having a hard time, I have to remind myself, you have been through hell, you have been put through hell, you are strong, you are tough, and your life there's pretty good chance that your life is going to be like this for the rest of your life, where you just have to be strong. You have to have low expectations of people, and you might not live as long as even your dad lived. I am not at all okay with that. But what I have to do is just remind myself I'm strong and I'm tough, and people do nasty things. People make money in wrong ways, and I don't have control over that. I can only do my best to protect myself. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, the impact of prescribed addictive drugs on physical empaths. All right, so some people who are physically empathic are so extremely debilitated by it. They might not do readings and things, but they feel so much. And that is, I'm kind of like that, but I'm I don't think it's as bad for me as it is for some people. And, maybe some of it comes and goes for some people, but I think, again, doing readings and when a client is taking drugs, and with my client on Adderall, even before, I remember waking up one morning dizzy on my left side, and even before looking, it's like, yeah, she sent me a message. It's affecting me physically. How do I protect myself? it's real hard to tell someone taking an addictive drug that that is not good for them. And I don't really know how to say it's not good for me that you're taking that, and so yeah. Anyway, just a few words, and yeah, again, I don't think I'm going to post much for a while. I really think I'm finally in hermit mode. It feels healthy. It feels good. Just withdrawing from that need to communicate, since I don't get, I mean, I don't get too much response from people, even when I write emails. So why bother? That's kind of how I feel. So yeah, just a few words, and I hope you hear similar things from other people like me. That wouldn't be a bad